Fallen viewers, and welcome to the Playroom. I'm Woody, and today we have a really special double review. Today we're taking a look at the Fireteam 788 3-pack and the Haslab H.I.S.S tank. And I could not be any more excited for this. This was a really good set, both of them, and I'm just super stoked to have them both in my collection. I mean, yeah, they're just really awesome. So let's dive right in. But before we begin, if you have not hit that subscribe button yet and you're enjoying the content I'm putting out, why don't you go ahead and hit that button and hit that bell icon so you can actually be notified when I upload new videos. If you're in a position to support the channel, you can do so on my Patreon, link down in the description below. First, we're going to start with Fireteam 788. Now, it's no surprise that these things are just repaints of pre-existing figures. I mean, you got a Cobra Officer, a Trooper, and the Range Viper. But what they do with them in terms of the color schemes and decals does make them stand out on their own. I mean, a couple of them have 788 printed on them somewhere, whether it's on a helmet or on their uniform. The color schemes are very nice and do stand out, and all around these are really nice looking sculpts, so I'm not really that mad. And I like that for the Cobra Trooper we do get a new vest. Granted, we have seen this vest a long time ago. We saw this back in 2021, I believe, with the Snake Eyes, Commando, and Timber pack. And so it's not a new mold, but the vest helps make this thing so much more unique compared to other Cobra Troopers. So it definitely gives it more the vibe of this is a special ops team. The paint job is very well done. There are some glossy colors as well as matte colors. It's not too garish, it's not too much, too little. It is a nice balance, and I think they're very well done. Honestly though, if I had to pick my favorite between these three guys, it's gonna be the Range Viper. And honestly, this paint job really does complement this mold. I mean, the Range Vipers themselves already look cool, and I'll get to that in a later review, but this paint job just gives it a more terrifying presence. So I think it looks really well put together, and I'm happy to have this guy. And the officer, again, it's just reuse, but it's enough that it's like, yeah, this is a special ops officer. So honestly, between the Python Patrol and the normal one and this guy, if I was taking orders from any of those officers, I'm gonna be listening to this guy. He just looks like he's that rank for a reason. And then the Trooper, well, he stands out a bit from the other grunts. I mean, yeah, aside from paint job and the new vest, but it gives him a new personality. And that's what I like, how a simple color change can bring a new personality to just a plain trooper. So I like that. I like the tiny little details that are throughout the figures. It's just super well done. Do love it. Now, the accessories are reusage of previous accessories that we've seen, but they're not exclusive to the original figures, with the exception being the Range Viper. He comes with the accessories that the standard Walmart edition came with. But the Trooper and the Officer, they get new weapons. For the Trooper, he gets this sweet looking small rocket launcher, complete with the backpack to hold the rockets and a bazooka trail. And the rocket itself is reused from bazooka, the trail is from scrap iron, but it really looks good with this guy, gives him that Rocketeer look that he needs to have. The paint job is plain but effective. It's just dark gray plastic with some crimson red thrown on, but it really does work for this guy, and it looks great with him. As for the Officer, he is now given a new pistol, which we've seen with previous troop builder packs. He gets that new Cobra cartoon looking SMG, an assault rifle with the grenade launcher instead of the AK-47 looking rifle that the officer got prior. So it's nice that we're getting different weapons for different packs. I do appreciate that. And then you get blast effect packs, and we've seen these blast effects all the way since the Cobra Viper 3 pack. But they're done in different colors. You got more explosive orangey red, you got a couple of blue ones, and it all just looks great. It adds so much playability to these guys, and it's great inclusion kind of thing. So I love it. The Ranged Viper, his accessories, like I said prior, they are just reuse of what came with him. So you got his LMG, grenade launcher, axe, knife, pistols, and his sai. So, yeah, but it all stores correctly on him like the other ones do, and it just menaces up this guy. So, love it. This is a really well done set. I just love what we're getting with it. I'll cover the articulation when I cover the figures from the H.I.S.S tank, so bear with me on that one. My only real gripes with these figures is the new accessories don't really fit in decently with the old harnesses and holsters. For example, on the officer, you need to really push the pistol into that holster because it wasn't designed for that gun. They didn't remold the holster. Or the knife, it was molded with that first knife, which was a really long blade, and instead we have a short knife. So it is really disappointing on that one. I wish they gave us new holsters kind of thing, because this small knife will fall out if it's not a tight enough connection. So yeah, beware on that one. And for a couple other gripes I have, a couple of the legs are loose on mine, and one of them came in a bit warped. I pretty much had to give all of them a hot bath just to fix them up perfectly. So that is a bit of a downer. I wish I didn't have to do that fresh out of the box, but hey, you can only do so much. One last thing I want to take a look at is this beautifully done box. I mean, yeah, you get the figures on the back in that nice CG render, but look at this box art. That is presentation right there, and it just looks good. It's menacing. The colors are great. It's a really well done box art, and that's one of the main reasons I love this line, is that they take good usage. They make good usage of the real estate they have on their boxes. And much like the figures themselves, this box complements the H.I.S.S tank. Starting with the box, holy shit! Did the Haslab team, Hasbro, the G.I.Joe team, all of them, this is a really amazing set. Like, look at the box alone. The artwork is beautifully done. There's an air of menace to it. You see the troopers that are going to be coming with it. You got Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness in the background. And I love the wraparound that is this box. I mean, man, this is so amazing. On the top of the box, we get this really nice looking artwork. Like, it looks like schematics on the background. You got the Cobra logo, and then you got Semper Fidelis Serpens, which, if I'm remembering my Latin correctly a little bit, it means always faithful snakes. So at least there's loyalty in Cobra with the troops. And then you got that big old Cobra in the middle of it. There's Mars logo on it. I love that. Fireteam 788 Mark 1 GH7C. Don't know what that is, don't care, it's awesome. And then the bottom. Oh my god. The schematic look of this thing is amazingly well done. I mean, holy shit, it is so well done. I mean, yeah, you got your legalese, your barcode, which, with this being a crowdfunded thing, why would there need to be a barcode? Comment below on why. But still, there's so much legalese, Haslab, Mars, all that, but it still looks good. It gives it a nice tactical look. And I love that G.I.Joe star that's crossed out. That's just so cool. Like, this thing, it's just really, really solid. Like, I could gush about the box all day. But I'm pretty sure that's not why you guys are here, so let's move on before I continue. Starting with the figures, we have the H.I.S.S gunner, driver, and tactician. And I love the artwork done on the tactician box. That's done by Ron Rudat. It looks really well done. The other two boxes are just reusage of the characters from the H.I.S.S box, but the Ron Rudat one, man, that stands out beautifully. You could see the asymmetrical lines of it. It gives it a nice retro vibe. I love it. And then speaking of retro, for the final figure, we get a retro Cobra Commander with a Mickey Mouse style Cobra logo to represent a misprint from back in the 80s. I think that is such a nice Easter egg, and I will get into that when I get to his figure. For the main three figures, I love the look of these guys. I mean, they're distinct, they'll stand out amongst other troopers, beautifully sculpted, paint applications, what minimal ones there are very well done, and all around these are great figures, and I just love the look of them. So super happy that we got these. For the accessories, each of them come with an SMG, a pistol, a pair of fists, though on mine you have to remove the comm link on the wrist to attach, but whatever. And then for the gunner, she gets a full auto shotgun, as well as a shovel and a pickaxe hammer. I don't know if there's a technical name for it, but it looks cool. And now we get to Cobra Commander. The sculpt and paint applications on Cobra Commander are nice, crisp, and clean. It is beautifully done. I love how crisp that Mickey Mouse Cobra logo is on it. It looks awesome. And that helmet, man, you can just hear Chris Collins talking out of that thing, barking orders.
Destro, how come I only have one H.I.S.S tank? I need a platoon of these to defeat G.I.Joe.
My dear Cobra Commander, you should count yourself lucky that we got the one.
Curses.
His accessory count is no joke either. I mean, he's got a backpack holster for his gun, you got his hairdryer looking of a gun, but it harkens back to that 80s cheese, so it's kinda cool. He's got a snake wrapped around a globe, which is detailed very well and pegged out very cleanly in paint, so that's pretty cool. And then he's got a knife. It's simple but effective. And then we have his interchangeable hands. He's got his trigger hands, a pair of fists, the globe holding hand, and a pointing hand to tell his troops what to do.
Will you imbeciles get off the computer and get back to work trying to kill G.I.Joe?
But, Commander, it's Baroness's OnlyFans page.
Wait, she has one of those?
Sir, how else does Destro get his money?
Well, shit.
Cobra Commander comes with a lot of good stuff, and I'm really happy that they threw this in. And this also means we're gonna get a plain logo Cobra Commander down the line, so that's awesome. Can't wait to see that. Now let's take a look at this beautiful tank, because I mean, my god, the amount of time and effort, you can definitely see it, all that represented here. It's beautifully sculpted, the panel lining is great, and the plethora of attachments you can give it, whether it's switching out the panels for the treads with retro style or classified, having the gold wing canopy be replaced with a more retro, the amount of guns that can go up on the rotating turret, whether it's those two big ones or these mini Gatling guns that can go on it, missile pods, the front nose guns. You can arm this thing out to the teeth and make it your own Cobra vehicle, because they also threw in a label sheet. So that's pretty cool. That definitely screams customization, and that no two H.I.S.S tanks are going to look identical. There will always be something different. So absolutely love it. I love the light up feature in it, because that just umps up the playability or just the wow factor, because I mean, the cockpit and control panels light up, and there you can see the gear shifter and the joystick to drive it, and those are actually posable, so that's cool. You get high beams, normal headlights, rear lights, a wicked Cobra projection that can be shown on. It's just awesome. And then if you open the back, you get interior red lighting. That's cool. This is all around a beautiful set. Now to attach the missile pods, you just lift up this cleverly hidden panel, and then you just plug them in, and there you go. And what's great is if you want to make it look like it's fired some, you can. The missiles are removable. I just wish that there was a smoke trail that you could plug into the missile and then plug into where the rack is, so that way you can make it look like it's been fired. Thankfully they're doing that with the Dragonfly, but hopefully we get something like that down the line. Once again, huge shout out to the G.I.Joe team, the Haslab team, for producing this beast of a beauty right here, because it is huge compared to other figures. I mean, just look at it compared to its own figures that it came with. And then for other comparisons for the figures, here is Retro Cobra Commander with the number 6 release Cobra Commander and the Cobra Serpent Supreme Commander. And you can switch the cape out and it looks really cool. And then here are the gunner, tactician, and driver with other members of Cobra. So they scale really well. And the other members of Cobra look great with it. For articulation, it's that tried and true method that is the G.I. Joe classified series. So you get good up and down on the head, you get butterfly joints, double elbows, double knees, ab crunch, waist swivels, all that. Now because of the vest on Fireteam 788, their ab crunch is going to be restricted, so do be careful. And now with that out of the way, it's time to introduce my new judging scale. Meet the 4 horsemen of figures, each one representing a different aspect of a figure. So we have sculpt, paint, articulation, and accessories. Each aspect of the figure has a grading system between 1 and 5, with 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So let's get started with Fireteam 788. For sculpt, it gets a 4. It lost points because of reused parts on the harness that don't really accommodate the weaponry that well, and the fact that I did have to fix the legs right out of the box, so it lost some points there. Paint, however, it gets a 5. Despite it being minimal, it is effective, so that's how it earns its score. Articulation, it gets a 4. It lost points because of that ab crunch for 2 of the figures cannot be used, so yeah, that really sucks. Accessories, 5. Despite them being reused, they are well done and there is a huge amount. Overall, Fireteam 788 earns an 18 out of 20. Really good score, just has a little bit of problems. Now for the H.I.S.S tank set. Now we're going to start with the figures. For sculpt, they get a nice solid 5. Brand new sculpt across the board, and it's sharp, it's clean, pristine, it's great. For paint, it scores a 5. It is really clean as well, and it just makes them all pop. Articulation, 5, because everything is usable, nothing's hindering it. For accessories, it gets a 5 as well. It comes with a plethora of them, and you can interchange it however you want, and it works. For the set itself, for sculpt, it gets a 5. Perfect sculpting, the panel lines are well done, everything is crisp and clean. For the paint, what minimal there is, gets a 5 as well. The gradient on the 788, the tiny markings on it, all perfectly printed, very well done, so it keeps that score. For articulation, it's a tank. The fact that it can roll around kind of thing, and the gun turns can move, gets a 5. And for accessories, 5. Because, I mean, come on, just look at it fully loaded. So the tank itself earns a perfect score of 20. Overall, these two sets show why the G.I. Joe Classified series is the best line that Hasbro is putting out. They are beautifully done, sculpted, painted, the accessories are just out the wazoo. It is really hard to find faults without nitpicking. aside from obvious glaring ones. Like I said, the sculpting could be a bit better with the 788 team, but still not disappointed. I genuinely think these are really great sets and worthy of picking up. Now, on Hasbro Pulse, you can still get 788, so pick it up there. As for the Haslab His Tank, good luck on eBay. But what did you guys think? Did you pick up both these sets? Did you just get one of them or the other? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion. And while you're there, do leave a like and hit that subscribe button. You want to be notified for future videos? Then hit that bell icon. You can find me on Twitter and Reddit, linked to both in the description below. And if you're in a position to financially help the channel, you can do so at my Patreon, linked to it in the description below. And that's it. Fallout, viewers.